Hello, wonderful people of the internet. My name is Matthew. Welcome to Matthew Talks About American Literature and More. Today, I'm going to be doing a pretty big book haul. I have recently purchased all of these books, and I'm going to be telling you about each of them today. I'm likely going to be reading all of them pretty soon. Some of them are a little different, but I wanted to tell you about them, let you know what I'm going to be reading. Hopefully you guys have read these books and can give me good feedback. And if you guys would like me to do a review of these books, let me know down in the comments, and I will do a review of them as soon as I finish them. So, let's just get started. The first book is Dandelion Wine by Ray Bradbury. Now, I read Fahrenheit 451. I really love Bradbury's writing. Prose, gorgeous, very engaging, very well written. But it was a little too concept heavy. Concept, great, iconic, I liked it for that, but it wasn't as character focused as I wished it would be. I think Dandelion Wine will likely be more engaging. I expect its writing to be as good as it was before. I hear this book is semi-autobiographical, which does intrigue me because I tend to be one of those people that like it when authors put a lot of themselves in their books. So hopefully I'll love it. Second book. This one I technically purchased a long time ago, but I want to include it because I just recently rediscovered it. And I purchased it when me and my father went to Italy to visit family. My father was born in Italy, I'm Italian. And this is the Penguin Book of Italian Short Stories. It's basically an anthology collected by Jhumpa Lahiri, a British-American short story writer who lived in Italy and wrote some short stories. And this is basically a collection of all the major short stories from major Italian writers. And I thought it'd be interesting, you know. I do consider myself an American through and through. Getting in touch with some of my roots would be fun, I think. And I think short stories are actually a great way to get people who are not accustomed to reading into reading. So, Italian anthology of short stories. Let me know if you're interested. The third book is another short story collection, and it's written by what many consider the father of American literature, or at least the very first major American author. That is Washington Irving, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and Other Tall Tales. I also think this one contains the story of the Headless Horseman, as you can see. Awesome cover. As you know, my channel's main focus is on American literature, and I thought that this book, since it was on sale from what is pretty much known as the first major American author, I took a glimpse at the first page of a couple of them. The writing seems archaic, but very readable. And given that there are some short stories with some pretty iconic characters, like everyone knows what the Headless Horseman is, I've heard that Charles Dickens was inspired by some of his Christmas stories, so I'm intrigued. I'll probably finish this one in a month or two, and hopefully I'll like most of the short stories in here. The fourth book. This is an NYRB classic. I was watching a podcast with Life on Books, and Nick, a major publisher for NYRB, mentioned that this was one of his favorite books, and that's The Year of the French, a lesser-known NYRB, massive historical fiction. I saw that even though it deals with the Irish Rebellion, it was written by an American author, which I thought, even though I've read the blurb, it deals with the rebellion after the American Revolution in Ireland. Since it was written by an American author, I think that can count when it comes to me covering American literature. And he said this was an amazing work of historical fiction. And since NYRB has given me some of my favorite books of the last couple of years, I thought, I'd check it out. Yeah. Book 5. This is from another foreign writer, a Hungarian writer. And this is another NYRB classic that's been getting a lot of buzz. Here, this is this author's best work. It's Magda Szabo. And this is the book Abigail. I know nothing about this book. I know it has a 4.3 on Goodreads. Some of the people I respect on Goodreads rate this very highly. New favorites, 5 stars. I do vaguely know that it takes place in the Second World War and details the life of this girl. But other than that, I really don't know anything. But I hope from the first couple pages, the writing seems clean, that I will love this book. The sixth book that I'm going to mention. And this is a book that is another NYRB classic that I thought would be intriguing. It's a nonfiction novel, and the book is called The World as I Found It by Bruce Duffy. As a general thing, since my book, just a note that while I do read writers from foreign countries, when I look through books like from publishers like NYRB, just because my channel is mainly focused on American literature, I thought like I'd prioritize like, hey, what are all the American writers that are being published by that? So I saw this one, I read the blurb, and it sounded fascinating. Basically, it details the life of G.E. Moore, Ludwig Wittgenstein, and Bertrand Russell through the First World War and their life and interaction together. It seems like something that I would be into, like it had with a lot of philosophical discussions, great characters sprawling across the entire world, major historical events. The 7th book I've purchased is one that really has me interested. This may be a bad choice, but I'm almost certain I'm going to love this book. And it's going to be my first read from this major American author, and that is Mason and Dixon by Thomas Pynchon. Now, Pynchon is known for being an incredibly difficult author to read, and this is one of his longest books. But I've decided to read this book for a couple reasons. One, I'm going to be reading this book with Matthew from the Mayberry Book Club, and I've been told that along with another book, is his favorite Pynchon. And the premise of this book is absolutely spectacular. I'm just going to read you guys the premise, just so you can get a sense of what this book is about. Charles Mason and Jeremiah Dixon were the British surveyors best remembered for running the boundary between Pennsylvania and Maryland that we know as the Mason-Dixon line. Here is their story as reimagined by Thomas Pynchon, featuring Native Americans and frontier folk, ripped bodices, naval warfare, conspiracies, erotic and political, and major caffeine abuse. We follow the mismatched pair, one frolicking, the other depressive, one gothic, the other pre-romantic, from their journey together to the Cape of Good Hope to revolutionary America and back, through the strange yet redemptive turns of fortune in their later lives on a grand tour of the Enlightenment's dark hemisphere as they observe and participate in the many opportunities for insanity presented to them by the age of reason. That sounds spectacular. I'm very into historical fiction just in general. I've decided to read this book for a couple reasons. One, I've been told that this is his only traditional frame narrative. I'm told that every single one of his books have embedded subplots among subplots and subplots. I'm sure this book sprawls, but I've been told it's basically, kind of similar to Wuthering Heights, where there's this character that kind of narrates his experiences with a bunch of other characters. The second reason is that it's entirely written in mid-18th century English dialects, which may seem difficult, but as someone who reads a lot of classics, I think it's something that I could get into. I read the first couple pages. In context, there were a few words that I just didn't get and I didn't understand, but I was able to glean almost everything within context. Like, I didn't have trouble getting through those couple pages. Thirdly, I'm very informed with early colonial American history, things like the transatlantic slave trade. So I don't think the historical fiction aspect of it is gonna be that much of a challenge. Plus, Pynchon does his research, and I have no problem going I have a problem having to read essays, but if I have to go on Wikipedia every now and again, I have no problem with that. And lastly, it's a sweeping globe-trotting buddy story, like Mason and Dixon. Like, I can already see the two sides of the same coin dynamic between them. So, Mason and Dixon. I'm going to be reading it in this month, so hopefully I'll love it. The 8th book that I'm going to be reading is The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. I don't know a lot about this book. I know that it follows a character after an explosion. I have read The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I enjoyed it. It wasn't a new favorite, but I could 100% see why people love that book. And it is one of those books that I think will endure. Like, that's one where I can see that it has a classic writing style. It's a page turner, but also has that classic feel. I've been told that this is a bit of a love it or hate it book. As someone who really enjoyed Donna Tartt's writing in The Secret History, and this one won a Pulitzer Prize, and it's considered a contender for the Great American Novel. This is just another one of those modern authors that I do want to support, because she seems like an author that, for as much as she writes popular fiction, popular contemporary fiction, she takes her writing seriously. And if I love it, it's going to be one of those big epic tomes that tend to be my favorite books. I'll probably read it in the next month or two. I'll read it, love it, and it'll become a new favorite. So, that's it. So, hope you're having a lovely day. Hope this video finds you well. Hope you're reading good stuff, and happy reading.